So first off, I want to dedicate this video to all the writers out there who are diligently slaving over their work and either trying to publish it independently or trying to trying to go through the traditional process of finding an agent who will then go through all of the effort of trying to sell that book or those books to an acquiring editor. I was having a discussion with a friend of mine who is one such author, and it made me realize that it's worthwhile to kind of note a bunch of things over the years. I've been self-published since 2010, I believe, maybe 2012. And when you look at my audiobooks, you'll notice that I've been publishing a lot of the same characters. I've been writing a lot of the same characters the entire time. So in a way, that gives me an advantage in the sense that I know the characters really well. Their backstories are more like history for me. And so Emperor is really my second novel length work. My first novel length worth work. My, uh, and that kind of brings me to one thing that occurred to me during this conversation that I had a couple hours ago, which is there are authors who achieve success with their first novel, but they're rare. Usually, when I run across an author, and to me, like the evidence that an author has found an audience is when they have thousands, like 2,000, 3,000 reviews on the product page for their novel.
Ako bitawan sa pet.
And I've noticed that in almost every case, when a person has thousands of reviews, and when I say thousands, I mean 2,000, 3,000, that's not their first novel or even their second novel. A lot of times that's their third novel. So that's the first thing that I want to note is, regardless of which route you take, that's probably going to be true for you, just like it is for everybody else. That you've got to be on your third novel at least to have found an audience. The other thing that's a very common view, I mean, aspiring authors is the importance of getting literary reviews.
What? Mm.
I never really paid a whole lot of attention to that because I don't really pay a lot of attention to the literary reviews. Actually, I was just kind of looking. You can notice that little path. That's sort of right about where the fountain is. There's a path down there that kind of comes this way. And I wasn't sure exactly how long you had to walk before it got up here. But apparently it's not that bad. It's kind of the same as what I just did. So maybe I'll try it next time. So I happen to know an author. I haven't been in touch with her in a while. She went the traditional route. She finished her passion project, which she started in college, I'm pretty sure. She was able to get a literary agent with that passion project, with that book. That agent was able to sell that book, and it was published several years ago. And I don't remember that book having a lot of reviews. She was a new author, after all. Now she's on her third book, and when I went to the product page for that novel on Amazon, I noticed that it does have something like 3,000 customer reviews, but it also has dozens of literary reviews.
Pero ¿qué estás haciendo?
But here I'd like to mention another author that who published a novel through a smaller press. That's her first novel, and she has dozens of literary reviews. And I would say she's in a similar category that most published authors are in. Still trying to find an audience for her writing. Island. Wait, that
Wow.
if there's a moral, I guess I would say it's this. The challenge is the same for both paths. So I named this video "Time Seems to Be the Key to Success" because that just seems to be the case. Regardless of which route you go. Again, it's not like there are no instances of people having a good idea, putting the time in, writing a novel in that 6 to 8 month period that like the established authors say that you should really be able to knock a novel out. And I'm not saying that never happens. Obviously it does happen. But I think that really in terms of building an audience, it really just comes down to time. You have to put the time in. And I also think that since things in society change, I mean, technology changes, I have to say the technology has changed tremendously since I first started doing this. I remember the days when if you wanted to get, a small amount of books printed, one of your few options was to go to the local Kinko's and then spend an arm and a leg unless you had a hookup. And you wanted to get some books printed because, well, I mean, printed books made a big difference, and actually having them done through a professional printer made a big difference because the print on demand thing just wasn't as good back then. Now it's hard to tell the difference. That's nothing compared to also the technology in terms of social media. Sure, social media has a ton of problems, but it also has a ton of benefits. It's time consuming, but it can be really useful in terms of helping you reach people that otherwise would never find your writing. I know that's the case for me through Substack. Because according to the download statistics, people are downloading scenes from Emperor in about 48, 50 countries. So, I mean, given the fact that so many things change, it seems as though it only makes sense that you're going to have to be willing to try all sorts of things. Like this, for instance, I never thought I'd be walking with a selfie stick with my cell phone talking about, sharing my experience. But the technology makes it a very easy thing to do. And like I said in one of the videos that I made with the writer's room, a lot of times on this path, I'm talking to myself anyway. So it's possible that some of you may have actually may be familiar with this little section. It looks a lot steeper from the ground, but the stairs actually make it a fairly easy up and down walk. Surprising. I believe in additions like this, little sections like this. I mean, if you can't build residential in an area like this, to me, it just makes sense to put an interesting little park like this here. I'll go down to the bottom and then come back up to the top so that you see exactly what I mean, how steep it looks. But as I said, basically, you have to try new things. The other thing I mentioned, I'm pretty sure in the last video that I made with the writer's room, is that while watching a video about synthetic influencers, they talked about how the algorithm actually looks for different environments, which is why human influencers would spend so much time trying to make the same video in different environments. Like, it's crazy. Well, algorithm, here you go, a completely different environment. And really, sometimes I think is useful as authors to go back and remember how you discovered that book that you absolutely love. And I'm willing to bet that in that situation, you probably didn't discover that book along with everybody else who first discovered it, like when it was first a thing. You may have been years beyond the point of that very first burst of sales, perhaps when the author is out there trying to boost pre-sales so that they can be on a #1 list. So in a way, you kind of need to put yourself in the place of all those readers who are probably out there, because the other thing that we all know is there's plenty of stuff out there that's popular for reasons that are confounding to us. So it's basically, I feel like it's sort of similar to that maxim, everybody needs somebody, or there's somebody out there for you kind of thing. I feel like as a writer, that's true. There's an audience out there for you, regardless of what you're writing. That's why it kind of pains me to hear authors say stuff like, "Oh, does this mean that my writing isn't good?" Think about all of the stuff that you have seen out there that clearly has an audience. Because, like I said, Amazon is kind of transparent in that way, where the book will have 3,000, 7,000, 12,000, 20,000 reviews. And like only a small percentage of people actually leave a review, even if it's just, stars. That's not even to mention the people who actually take the time out to write a review. I can't remember the last time I wrote a review of a book. So, clearly you have your opinion, and then there are 3,000, 12,000, 26,000, whoever knows how many other people who disagree. And they love this thing, whatever it is, this book. So I don't even really see it as an optimistic view. I see it as just a reality that there is an audience out there for what I'm writing. Um, Perhaps there are people who love action and adventure with more context, or perhaps it's people who love romance with more context, or perhaps it's people who like sci-fi with more context, or people who just like audiobooks and appreciate the fact that Coliseum is a full cast audiobook, which is, in fact, the most expensive way to do it. But I really believed that that was the way to do Coliseum for the same reason why it was the way to do my previous audiobooks. My cast is always very diverse. And I work with some really talented voice actors, but it's just unrealistic to expect one actor to be able to do all the female characters and all the male characters and all the southern characters and the northeastern characters and the European characters or whatever equally well. It's just not realistic to do that. It's almost not fair to expect that. So you never really know why a person might love a book. Now, sticking with the whole audiobook thing, yes, I did see yesterday as part of a news segment about social media and how the focus on young people might be a little bit displaced because actually the people who have like the worst social media literacy are actually people in the Gen X and baby boomer generations. Um, I think that's borne out by our politics, at least. But one of the things that you mentioned in talking about all of the public service efforts that have been made to educate young people on with regard to social media, they mentioned that, yeah, so now there's one trend that they're seeing with Zoomers is that they're choosing to go analog. They're choosing not to do digital. They're buying vinyl records, which, by the way, do actually sound better for certain types of music. That's always been a fact. And, buying printed books again and reading. I was on a bus a month ago and I saw a guy pulled out a book to read. It was kind of refreshing to see. Definitely, uh, I appreciate it as an author seeing that. But the truth is that I think a lot of people mainly consume fiction through the audiobook format. So that might be another thing because I have noticed that if you look at the seller ranking for books on Amazon, the books that are most likely to have a seller ranking that's at least in the 1500 and below range are books that are published in all the formats, not just ebooks, certainly not just paperback and hardback or hardcover, but all four: paperback, hardcover, ebook, and audiobook. So again, that kind of goes back to what I was saying about just trying a lot of things and recognizing that whatever you do, more than likely is going to take time.
Thank you. I got the door, right, bro?
So first off, I want to dedicate this video